101.3, you're on with Joe and Domingo, Real Marriage Matters. Reach us at on Facebook at Real Marriage Matters, on the web at realmarriagematters.com, and on Gmail at realmarriagematters1@gmail.com. I don't know why we had that one there. We probably messed up along the way.
Yeah, we messed up, but it makes sense, right? Real Marriage Matters is the one
It's
thing
the
that...
one thing that we messed up on.
Yeah, that too.
So anyway, you know what?
Wait, who messed that up anyway? Do you know?
I don't know.
I do.
Mangu?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's an inside secret.
Our man
joke.
Mangu messed up on that.
But that's all right because he does a lot of things right.
Mangu's an amazing man.
He has a lot of blind spots.
That he definitely does.
So listen, we're gonna get into the 3 steps. We left off where we was talking about being honest with yourself about yourself. We talked about David and how Nathan gave him the realization that, you know what, you're not right with God.
Yeah.
And then everything that he did, and finally David came to the realization that, you know what, I sinned against God.
Right.
And so we're gonna, you know, now that you reach that point, say you reach that point, I don't know if you have, I don't know if you're going to, but now we're gonna talk about the 3 steps to being honest with yourself about yourself, and those, the step 1 is admitting.
Right.
It's like kind of like when you're a drug addict, you just gotta admit that there's a problem first.
And we are a whole bunch of
Step 1.
jacked up addicts in a certain way or another, right? We're just some jacked up people. And, you know, we have to come to this place of actually admitting that we have a problem. You know, I can't tell you how many people don't want to admit it, you know, and they'll say, oh yeah, I have issues, but, you know, or yeah, I know everybody is struggling, or the whole I'm not perfect thing. But what I'm talking about is that whole deeper thing, is that whole, you know what, yeah, I am messed up. Yeah, there are blind spots. And almost kind of like coming to this place of what we would call in Christianity repentance, you know? Like you just want to ask for forgiveness because you realize you're messing up. It's kind of that same understanding where you're just saying, you know what? I do have blind spots and I really, really need help. And when you come to this place of admitting, that's like a cure for this thing that we call denial. You ever heard about denial?
Denial, yeah.
Yeah, because we're all in denial to some degree. And when you say, you know what, I do have issues, then you kind of are beginning to combat the denial in us. And for some of us, denial has 2 forms. There's 2 forms of denial. There's that kind of willing denial, or I call it willing denial, where you kind of choose to be in denial. And that's that thing where you kind of know that you have some stuff going on, but you don't really want to address those things. You know, like you said, how people have told you that you're really annoying, you know? Well, you kind of hear it, but you kind of stay in denial about it. And not that you are.
I've accepted it.
Can I say something? You're not annoying, bro. I don't think
Not
you're
to
annoying.
you.
No.
That's why I hang around you. That's why I'm here.
Oh, so not yet.
No. I'm annoying.
Oh,
But
okay.
you accept me as I am.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's why
So I
hang
look
around
past that. I see past the annoyingness.
you. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's okay.
Man, I'm looking at myself on camera over here and I realized how much I look like a Puerto Rican CeeLo.
Oh.
And, you know, I was in denial about it, but now that I see myself over here sitting with my fat belly and stuff, I gotta work out.
Oh, okay. Do you
Yeah.
sing like that guy?
No, I don't.
No, so then
I
you
probably
just,
eat
like
like
him?
him. That's about it.
but you don't sing like that.
I don't sing like that.
So then you kind of don't
I
got.
don't dress like them either.
No, that doesn't work for you.
Gold clogs are not in my future.
No.
No.
Okay. but being honest with yourself about yourself is
Right.
okay.
Well,
Good.
let's see if it prompts positive, you know, action.
Oh, okay. So the whole willing denial piece is kind of like, you know, you kind of choose to be in denial, and it becomes your scapegoat from responsibility. So there's many of you out there who are listening or watching, and you are in a willing type of denial. So you don't really want to admit that you have these blind spots, because then that would cause you to have to take responsibility for them. You know, that would cause you to really have to say, wow, I'm kind of jacked up and I need to change. Because the moment you admit it, then, you know, you become a hypocrite if you say, I'm messed up, but I'm doing nothing about it.
Right.
You know, or you know, I have blind spots, but I don't want you to tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, it's like almost, especially if you're a Christian, and we just kind of set the tone last week where the Bible's saying that we're supposed to grow up, that we shouldn't stay stuck in the futility of our thinking, that we should take off the old self and put on the new self. And now you're saying, well, this blind spot, well, guess what? That's part of your old self. So if you say, well, I have junk, and you don't do nothing about it, then you become a hypocrite. And honestly, church, World 103.3 listeners,
church.
There will be church members hopefully one day. That's the reality. If you're a Christian and you're listening to me, in reality, people are seeing your blind spots. And if you're not admitting, if you're in that kind of willful denial stage, then you're really being kind of a hypocrite.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's one. Okay,
no, I was gonna say, and segueing into the next thing, what happens when it's something that is so traumatic, so disgusting about your past that you don't know that you're hiding it?
Yeah, and that's the second type of denial. That's that whole subconscious denial, I call it. And basically, that's a denial that comes up as a result of some traumatic experiences in your life. You could have been raped. You could have experienced verbal abuse. You could have...
Your father leaving home.
Your father leaving home. Your mom, whatever, leaving you, being abandoned. Being raised by your grandparents and not having parents.
A crime, a murder, of some sort, or something like that. Something really
traumatic. And
right.
And what that does is it causes you to kind of, in certain areas of your life, be in a state of denial. And the psychological term for that is like repression. And basically, is you kind of repress those things that you kind of block the pain of those circumstances, those traumatic events. And when you repress those feelings and those emotions, what's happening is you're responding to those things, your actions, but you don't even realize it because it's coming from an event that you've kind of put away. So if you've done dirt and you've hurt somebody, or you've even cheated on your spouse, or like Domingo said, you've witnessed a crime or a murder, or you've had some sort of traumatic event, what ends up happening is that event psychologically messes you up, does something to you, and now you respond. So I'll give you a perfect example. There's people who have been abused, right? Let's just say sexual abuse, and now they have this anger inside of them, and everything makes them angry. Now they probably know they're angry, but to some degree, they don't realize the extent of that anger or how that anger is affecting other people. So there's that thing about, I have anger, but people see something about that anger that's coming out that you don't necessarily see.
You're not making the connection with
you, the person, are not making,
right.
And it's coming from that traumatic event that you've experienced that's bringing about this thing of anger. And so you're in a subconscious denial. And for some of that, for you to admit, that you do have blind spots, the other area, and again, if you're listening or watching, is to go to counseling, to begin to heal that hurt. Because the blind spot is still going to be there. But when you heal that hurt associated with the traumatic event, the repressed feeling, then you can begin to address the blind spot.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I remember I got robbed at gunpoint one time, and it was a couple of us. It was in a store that I worked in, and I didn't feel fear for my life at that moment. And the guys was just like, stripping us of our cash or whatever we had. They asked me for my watch. I bit the watch off and ripped it off and spit it at them. It was like real disrespectful, like to the point where they should have done. Yeah, they should have done something to me, but I didn't have no fear at that moment. So I thought I was, the thing passed. They left. They took the money, whatever and the time passed, and I thought I was like the big man, whatever. And then one time, I was coming from downstairs to the upstairs area of the store, and on the Mega, they were doing a joke about robbing somebody in Spanish. And I remember when I heard that, I didn't realize that I was repressing this fear. I ran back down into the basement and I hid. Because that fear crept up on me, where it didn't creep up on me when it happened. I guess I was repressing it at that moment, but I turned into a little girl that day because of the radio joke. When I realized it was the radio, I kind of I was relieved and stuff like that. But then I realized that the fear had, reared its head at that time.
Right. So take that example and you kind of look at it from a perspective of now you're responding in that fear all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not realizing that the response of fear is coming from that traumatic event. That
Well, it
robbery.
could be something like, you translate it to your household, translate it to your wife, translate it into an argument where maybe your wife is a little aggressive and she pushes you into a corner, or she really is in your face.
Right.
And you snap, maybe you slap her, maybe you push her away, maybe you just flip out on her in a way that you never had before. And it's because you're holding these feelings in about that day where they had you at gunpoint, and you know what I mean?
Are you confessing?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay,
I'm
just
trying to be dramatic.
Oh, okay. You're doing a good job at it,
Thank
bro.
you.
Almost to
Almost.
I need to call Lisa.
Hello.
So yeah, so that's what happens. We have this subconscious denial, and if that's you out there listening, then our recommendation is that you go and really talk about it. Seek professional help. Go to a counselor, and then begin to, you can avail yourself to dealing with that area that other people see, or allowing people or to be honest with you about yourself, with you. So can I just talk about some of the, before we go to radio break, talk about what happens if we don't admit that we have issues? Like if we stop at that level and say, well, I don't want to admit, I don't want to come to that place of admitting because it's too much pain, or that's my scapegoat or whatever.
Well, how about if you do admit it? Like I've had issues where I do admit them, but I don't plan on changing. I just say, I know I'm like that. You know what I mean? Accept me for who I am.
Well, right. So if you don't pass step one, basically, a lot happens, or a lot suffers. And you know what? What we'll do is we'll go to a radio break and we'll come back and we'll talk about those areas that suffer. How about that?
Heavy. 103.3 Rural Radio. Reach out to us on Facebook at Real Marriage Matters, and on the web at realmarriagematters.com, and send us your questions, agreements, disagreements at Gmail at realmarriagematters1@gmail.com. Rural Radio.